Well, welcome back, Whistle Watchers. Now, there's plenty to talk about from the conclusion weekend of this year's Six Nations, so let's get straight into it. And we'll start off with the France and Scotland yellow card. Now, a lot of you have been talking about the Peato Mauvaka yellow card, which was reviewed and remained at a yellow. So, what we have here is a player clearly launching himself at an opponent who is on the ground. Now, the key thing here is footage to see if there is direct contact with the neck or the head area. And if there was so, then I'm pretty sure there would be no doubt that it would be a red card. But because of the footage available to everybody on the day, it was not possible to make that judgment call. Now, some of you will be asking, why was it not a red card or relevant of where contact is? Because it seems to the officials on the day the contact was the shoulder. Now, imagine if there was a punch to the shoulder then. Would that mean because it's contact to the shoulder, there is not a red card? Maybe so. It all comes down to your interpretation on the referee as a day if that offence warrants a red card. And the other thing to remember here as well, if the officials felt that there was direct head contact to the head or shoulder in a head-butting action, then it would have been a straight red because it is an act of foul play. So it wouldn't be a 20-minute red card as we've seen being trialled in this year's Six Nations. So there we are. We will respect the process and we will wait to see what happens. Now let's head over to Rome then for Italy-Ireland. Now, quite a few talking points in this game. Well, let's look at the first one. The Michel Lamaro yellow card. He's offside, and what he does, he cynically knocks the ball forward as well. So what we have is a deliberate act, deliberate knock on, a cynical act as well. And remember that he then kills the momentum of the oppositions, which means it is a yellow card as checked by the officials via the TMO. In the same game, we have a red card, this time to Ross Vincent on 48 minutes. It's a yellow card, goes to the bunker, and on this occasion, it's upgraded to a red. So why? Well, what we see here is the player coming from a distance, head high, direct contact to the head, and therefore because of that and the high degree of danger, we have no mitigation in this instance here, and therefore it was correctly upgraded to a red card. So think back to Wales-Ireland, similar incidents in that game, upgraded to a red card as well. Now then, one that's really got you all talking and asking questions is the disallowed Hugo Keenan try. Now then, let's see what happens here. You've got to appreciate from where the touch judge is looking from, it looks like it could be in touch. But obviously, because there's a player in front of him, he probably does not see a clear view, but his gut feeling probably that it is in touch. So his natural reaction would be then to put the flag up. Now, why you're asking, was this not allowed to carry on and the try correctly given because it was scored? Because when we look at the footage again, remember we are looking at footage in slow motion, but on the replay we can see that James's Lowe, his foot was not in touch. So therefore the try should have stood. But the decision was arrived at because the assistant referee puts the flag up, that could mean now that players would naturally stop because they think it's in touch and therefore wouldn't have made a try-saving tackle. Now, I know what some of you are saying, and I do have a bit of empathy with you here as well. Some of you will be saying, well, we've always been taught, if you don't hear the whistle, you don't stop playing. So maybe that is the lesson here for players. Even though the flag goes up, maybe if you don't hear the whistle, carry on playing to make sure. But in this instance here, the match officials felt because the flag went up, it could have had an effect on what happened next, and therefore disallowed the try, which should have stood. So there you are. So that's the reason why it's a very difficult situation. If we play on and then go back, everybody will say, well, why do we waste time? But on this instance, you put the flag up and sometimes the wrong outcome is achieved. But there we go. That's the way it is. But my advice to you is, as players, if you don't hear the whistle, don't stop playing. In the same game, we have another yellow card sent to the bunker. We have Nicotera this time. And what he does, he goes into a player who is stationary. So there's no excuse here of making a head contact and certainly no excuse of making no attempt to wrap as well. So it's sent to the bunker. And because it was on 79 minutes, it was then upgraded to a red card, which means he would have been off for the 20 minutes anyway. So it makes no difference to the outcome of the game. And it was conveyed to the team and the player after the game that it would have been upgraded to a red card. Right, let's head to Cardiff. Oh, well, do we have to? Well, yes, let's head to Cardiff. Well, what can I say? Nothing is probably best. But what about the Blair Murray disallowed try? That certainly got you talking. Now then, what we have to realise here, that anybody who is in front of a teammate who last played the ball is offside. And if you're offside, you cannot take any part in the game until you are put onside. So in this instance, Thomas Williams is offside. Now, he then makes contact, tries to tackle Curry. Curry doesn't get the ball anyway, he bounces, and then Blair goes on to score a try. Now, the key thing is here, this is all I want you to decide on. And there maybe is no right or wrong. If you, as a match official, believe that what Tom Williams did affect Curry maybe getting at the ball or maybe regathering time to maybe prevent Blair from scoring, then it would be a penalty, as we saw on the day. If you felt, well, I don't think it's made any effect whatsoever because Curry would have never got to the ball, so then the try would stand. So it's all down to the referee's interpretation. Does Thomas Williams affect the ability of Curry to defend that situation or gain possession of the ball? And it really, really is a 50-50 one. So on this occasion, the referee, and I tend to agree with the referee on this occasion, I think there's enough there for you to disallow the try. But as I said, if you feel there isn't, then you could play on and award the try. So there we go, the beauty of some refereeing decisions and the game of rugby. Eh? That's it for Whistle Watch this week. Let's move on to Emirates Fans Questions. Now then, your Emirates Fans Questions, and let's start off with Morgan Vaughan 9257. Now, one thing I noticed heavily in the France vs Scotland game is the ref almost coaching at the breakdown near constant calls of stay on side, hands out, away now. I understand it's about managing the tempo of the game, but I felt like every ruck was getting managed. If teams are just penalised rather than being effectively coached and warned, they will soon stop. Why are refs sounding like they are coaching? Now, that's a very, very good point, actually. So, what we don't want is whistle, 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 and stop, start, stop, start. So there is time for communication, but I tend to agree with you. Over communication should not be happening because you shouldn't have to, at every contact area, tell teams what to do. Occasionally, push back now and again. Yes, fair enough, but not constantly. So it's a balance between continuity and also not talking players out of giving penalties. But at the end of the day, you were there to referee the game. So I tend to agree. Too much talk is not needed. Less is more. At Barry Aline Maloney 2072, Nigel, can you clarify the rules of the rolling maul? I have seen a number of instances where some members of the maul are standing outside the field of play but are still pushing forward. Surely if any part of the maul is out of play, it should be a sideline ball. Now then, not quite. Good point you bring up, because imagine when a player is running with a ball, say when he goes into the corner to score a try, the tackler who is grabbing him may well be in touch, but the ball carrier and the ball isn't. So it's to do with the player in possession. So if the player in possession touches the touchline, then it would be in touch, but anybody else is not. So that is why you don't see the flag going up, because the maul may go into touch. So part of the maul is, it's all to do with the player carrying the ball. At SC Mac 5155, we saw a few loose balls in the in-goal area this weekend. So can a player down the ball in the in-goal area just by stepping on it? Good question, but the answer is no. And do you know why? Because downward pressure means any part of the body from the waist to the neck. So the head won't count and below the waist won't count. So anywhere on the front, by the way, not the back, on the front from the waist to the neck is downward pressure. So yeah, so that's why you can't make the ball dead with your feet. At David Leonard 9506, please can you explain the rule about offloading from the ground? How long is your window to pass the ball, and at what point is it called playing on the ground? My understanding is that as soon as your body hits the ground, you cannot pass the ball, but I don't think I've ever seen a late pass penalised in international rugby. So where is the limit? Very good question again. You got good questions this week in your Emirates Fans Questions. Now, what you have to do is immediately. So I will leave it to you to decide what immediately is. So when you hit the deck, your next action must be to do something. So you either place the ball or, as you mentioned, pass the ball off the ground. So the key word here is immediately. Now, we'll have a little bit of leeway here, so maybe sometimes you'll hit the deck, but there's nobody there from the defence to come and grab that ball, and the offload may be a little second or so late in that instance because the flow of the game, and it hasn't had any material effect on what happens next, we tend to allow it. But to answer your question, the law is once you hit that deck, you must then do something with the ball immediately. And immediately means within the next seconds or so, I believe. So there we go. That's it. Thanks for your Emirates Fans Questions. Now let's move on to our very own awards to cap off the best of the series. Right then, time to hand out my prestigious awards. Let's have a look at the first one. It's the Outstanding Siblings Award, and I'm pretty sure you all have guessed by now who that's going to. Yes, it is going to Tom and Ben Curry, the twins. First time ever that a pair of twin brothers have started a test match together for England, and both of them fantastic players as well. Congratulations to the both of you. Not so much about the result. The Farewell Award, now then, 3 of Ireland's and rugby's great servants here, Peato O'Mahony, Conor Murray and Cian Healy, 3 players who I have refereed on many, many occasions, and always been a pleasure to referee them. All made a final appearance in the Six Nations, all 3 fantastic players and good people off the field as well. And thank you to all that they've given to the game, and in particular Ireland. Fan of the Six Nations? Well, Rhodri Williams. I don't think you will be betting again that you're going to run a mile for every point that Wales concedes. 119 miles Rhodri is going to have to run. Good luck with that, Rhodri. It's a long way. The 3-peat award. Now then, what about this? Sean Lynn and Gloucester Hartpury for winning their 3rd PWR in a row. Remarkable consistency. And a great way for Sean Lynn to move on as well as he takes charge of the role as head coach of Wales women. Poor bloke, Sean, and congratulations on what you've achieved so far. The Wise Advice Award. Now then, this is a heartwarming award that goes to Pierre Shoesman from Scotland after he offers some advice for a young fan in the crowd. Great to see players interact with their supporters at the end of the game, and I'm sure that will inspire the next generation of players as well. Well, that's it for Whistle Watch. It's been a busy couple of weeks, a lot of points to talk about, and a lot of rugby to come in the summer as well. So I'm sure we'll be back again to answer your Emirates Fans Questions and talk about the talking points on Whistle Watch. But till then, bye-bye.